Hey, I'm Chance Jackson.
And I'm Tiana Jackson.
And we're Team Homeward Found, your licensed real estate agents here in Central Oregon. So in these series, we talk about every single neighborhood in Bend, Oregon, which is this beautiful city.
So Old Bend is a neighborhood in the center of Bend. It is the heart of the city. It's the historical area of Bend. It was like the first neighborhood that was ever a neighborhood. And so today we're gonna tell you 5 things we really like about Old Bend and 5 things that could be maybe a little bit better.
So let's get right to it.
The first thing that we really like about Old Bend is the parks. And you're gonna hear us say this over and over again because Bend is full of amazing parks. And Old Bend is no different. The first park is Drake Park. It's one of the iconic parks of Bend because it was the very first park that was ever created in Bend, Oregon. Any given day you can go out there and you can see people working on slacklining or fishing or just walking their dogs. It's a really vibrant and really fun park to go and hang out at. The second park is Miller's Landing, and that park is really great because it's basically on the other side of Southern Crossing and right on the edge of Rivers West. So very cool park. We actually saw some people like sword fighting or something, right?
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool too.
She wants to get into that. 2 quick distinctions between those 2 parks. The Drake Park is really close to the downtown area and there's a lot of old growth trees. So you can see a lot of tree coverage and a large space of grass. On the other side of the coin, out at Miller's Landing, the park is there's not a lot of tree coverage. It's very bright, very open, right next to the river. So it's perfect if you're trying to suntan or just hang out in the sunshine. So while the parks are incredible, a con about Old Bend, in my opinion, is the lack of sidewalks. Now there are sidewalks in Old Bend, especially in the high commercial, high traffic areas, the main roads, your main veins of Old Bend. A lot of the areas, a lot of the residential areas don't have any sidewalks at all. So you don't want to have your kids outside playing if there aren't any sidewalks that they can safely play on.
The second thing we really like about Old Bend is that it does have that history. I mean, you can go out and about and you'll just see historical buildings and old home styles. It's just a really beautiful and vibrant place, and it really feels like that's where the history really was created.
You can even see that some of the buildings in the commercial areas are older as well.
Yeah, like the high school, in fact, has like these columns to make it look really historic, so that's pretty cool too.
Now, because Old Bend is a historic area, you're gonna see a lot of older style of road planning. Now, the roads are kind of all over the place. They're not your traditional ladder style roadways and cross streets. Everything kind of swerves around and zigzags. You have to be really on high alert while driving.
I got lost a couple of times because it just doesn't feel right when you're making these turns. Like, you're not sure if it's one way or 2 ways, so definitely double check your route to make sure you're going the right way.
So the next pro for Old Bend is the different housing styles. There's a lot of different unique architecture that if you're a connoisseur of different housing styles and different developments, you're really gonna find Old Bend interesting. So you have your traditional Cape Cods, which kind of line the streets. There's a few ranch style homes, but they're kind of rare.
Yeah, and you also have those bungalows and modern craftsmen, so there's a lot of variety there. Going along with like the previous con, another con in this area is that there's not a lot of parking. So a lot of these homes do have like some garage space, but beyond that, you're not gonna find a lot of parking. So the roadways are completely covered with cars.
Yeah, and just kind of nodding to those housing styles, Cape Cods, bungalows, those houses don't traditionally have garages. So that's why you see these houses right on top of each other without, garages to park the cars in. So they're gonna park on the road.
So a personal pro for this area is that there's McMenamins located in it. It's a very special thing for Chance and I as we did a lot of our first dates in McMenamins in Portland. So having that in the area was really cool. We got to stop by and enjoy a meal and have a fun coffee cocktail, and yeah, it was really fun.
It was delicious. They're so good. Now, although I love McMenamins, one of the cons about this area is there's not a whole lot of food options. It's mainly a residential district. There's a little bit of commercial stuff, but as far as I saw, there were only like 3 or 4 restaurants available to choose from, and we chose McMenamins because we
love McMenamins.
We love McMenamins. Some of the other places we wish we could check out, but I'm sure they're just as good.
So the last thing we want to highlight about Old Bend is that it truly is the heart of the city. It is right in the central area of Bend, so it's really easy to get around to any side of the city, and yeah, it's just very easy to commute in that way without thinking about the roadways and all the parking issues.
And we joke with some of our clients about the travel throughout Bend, and it's really like 15 minutes to any corner of the city. So although it's a big city, it's really easy to get around in. So during this process of recording this video, did you just burp? So during the process of filming this video, our son, we had him over here in the corner and he's just grunting and laughing and playing with his toy. So we decided to bring him into the limelight because that's what he likes. Say hi to the people. Oh, he just caught it on his foot. So getting back to some of the cons, all of these cons are relatively connected. This last con is the infrastructure of the actual roads. Now, although there's really nice areas in Old Bend, there are a lot of really beat up areas where the roads are just like patched over the top of other poles that were once there, just kind of jangled. You can see that in some of our filming. The GoPro was bouncing around and it's kind of like we were off-roading. I'm not trying to knock anyone that does, road management or any of that stuff. I'm sure it's really expensive, but it's just something they haven't gotten around to doing yet.
I definitely would be also careful when you are biking around because some of these roadways are not good for biking. So be careful and plan your route accordingly. So those are just a few of our personal pros and cons about this area. There's probably a lot more that you can probably like about it or maybe you wouldn't like about it, but that's just from our experience. We hope that it's been beneficial for you to watch and hopefully you've learned something along the way.
If you're interested in seeing other neighborhoods and learning about other areas, be sure to reach out or watch the other videos that we have posted on this channel. Make sure to reach out with the link below to get more information if you're curious. We're open to answering any of your questions. With that said, I'm Chance.
I'm Tiana.
We're Team Homeward Found, your Central Oregon real estate agents. See you soon.
Bye.